All right, welcome back to the East Kentucky Tournament Trail Podcast. This is episode number 3 for 2022. Tonight, we're blessed to be joined by Lafe and Matt Messer, correct?
Yes, sir.
Martin County, Kentucky boys. Did it big this weekend down in Florida on the Harris chain. And, I told you guys when we first got on the call, I got so many messages from guys yesterday that wanted to hear your story. They want to know, how did you go from Martin County, Kentucky to winning on the Harris chain? And I think one of the things that you guys may not be aware of is how many young kids you may be inspired by doing that. You know what I mean? There's a young kid sitting over in Martin County, Kentucky tonight that knows you two. It's like, hey, mom, hey, dad, I'm gonna go fish like them guys. I'm just saying that's so cool. So that has to be a cool feeling for you guys if you've even thought about it like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we wanted. I mean, we've had people that we looked up to, and it's a great feeling to be somebody that the younger kids can look up to.
Absolutely. So, let's just start there. Talking to you guys, my dad was inspirational in getting me into fishing. So going way back, for that young kid that we're talking about that's inspired by your story tonight, who got you into fishing? Who planted that seed, and how did we get here?
Well, our dad had us outdoors fishing and hunting our whole life. Like since we could walk, that's what we were doing.
That's awesome. So, my next question is, which local lake, did you cut your teeth on?
I'll be honest with you. I mean, Yatesville the most, but really we learned to fish away from home. Like
right.
When we first started, we were traveling more than we were really around the house fishing. So we used to go to Guntersville a lot, and that's probably really where we learned the most.
Yeah, Guntersville's a favorite. I know, Kevin Dials, Cameron Dials, I guess, who was your teammate of yours.
Yeah,
Kevin Dials and his dad.
Be quiet.
Yeah. Hey, listen, so Cameron Dials, his grandfather is the true hammer in that family. I'm just saying.
Yeah, he's a legend.
I mean, he catches a 10-pounder every time he goes to Guntersville,
Yeah.
So, but talking about our local lakes, we've got a little movement going. We're talking about, F1s and maybe trying to do something different, do a little different stocking strategy. And I think, one of the things you guys can speak to this, you had to travel to learn to fish with those guys. And, our lakes aren't really comparable, but I still think we could do a little more. How do you guys feel about that? Putting you on the spot there.
Well, I think it'd be awesome. We need to do something because lakes around the house, they're getting beat up, and it's getting tougher and tougher every year.
I agree. And a lot of our guys, they travel to East Tennessee, to fish every weekend. And I feel like, maybe we could change a strategy, or, the Department of Fish and Wildlife does an awesome job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, we could maybe just try something different, maybe like F1s or whatever. But nonetheless, guys, so when did you start? When was your first bass tournament? When did you go out and fish competitively for the first time?
Probably like 6th or 7th grade, just fishing like local tournaments, Yatesville and Paintsville and stuff.
Martin County Bass Club, no doubt, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so there and when I think about Martin County bass fishing, somebody over there is doing a heck of a job with the high school bass club. And I see it all the time. Tons of guys or kids getting an opportunity to fish over there. Who's doing all that, and who's doing all that great work?
Man, there's all kinds of people that's got a hand in it. Michael Markham, Nathan Harless, Brent Haney. Levi Lowe, there's a bunch that have really stepped up and done a lot for that program.
I'm sure Kevin Dials is involved, no doubt, right?
Yeah, it's the whole Martin County community is behind that program, and it's coming through high school. That was a highlight of my high school career, was just fishing for that team, and
it's what got us here. Yeah. We wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for them starting that team up over there.
And I feel like, there's a lot of learning that goes on there with how many guys fish at Martin County High School? Do you know? Just give me a ball.
I don't know now. It's growing.
There's a lot now.
Whenever I was there, we was getting up to like 20 people on the team having like 10 boats, but now it's untelling how many they got.
So, I just think that's so awesome. I'm a 2000 high school graduate. high school fishing didn't exist. College fishing didn't exist. So, I mean, like, I'm a little envious as an old guy of the opportunities now for bass fishermen. I think it's so cool. You know, the one thing that I always talk about, I coach sports, been involved in sports in for most guys at 22. Y'all can bass fish for the rest of your life, you know, competitively for just as long as you want to do it. If you want to be Rick Clun, go do that, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, Martin County, and then when you got to KCU, how did we go from Martin County High School to Kentucky Christian University?
Well, my sophomore year of high school, we had that auction that we have over there, and KCU's not the coach we have now, but the coach that they did have. He came to the auction and he talked to me about it, and that was the first time I'd ever really thought about like going to college and fishing. And then I kept in touch with him for a little bit, and then Lafe went to Alice Lloyd and fished. He ended up transferring over here, and I come up here with him.
Okay, so you guys aren't the same age then, right? I mean, who's older? Lafe is older?
Yeah.
Good deal. So Lafe, you're a sophomore, am I correct?
I'm like in between my junior and sophomore.
Gotcha. So you're you've done this for a little bit then. I lost you.
This is my third. This is the start of my third full season.
Good deal.
And, I mean, we've had nothing like what happened down there this weekend.
So in talking to that young guy again, you know, because I feel like those are the guys that are going to watch this podcast, you know, talking about the learning curve from high school bass fishing to, you know, being able to compete on the college trail. You know, you've done it for a few years now. So what did you do to learn? What did you do to close that gap?
The best thing I could give the best information I could give to a younger angler is to just as quick as you can start doing it on your own. And I mean, it's good to talk to people and pick up things here and there, but you're really not going to learn anything unless you figure it out yourself. And like getting information and different things like that, time spent and just figuring it out, that's the best way to do it.
I agree, man. You know, I haven't won anything on the level of what y'all have won, but I'm just saying time on the water is, you know, invaluable in learning how to become a better fisherman, I think. You know, so talking about being a college fisherman, all right. One of the high school kids today I was talking about to at Paintsville High School, I told him I was going to have you guys on tonight, you know, and he wanted to hear more about the travel. So, you know, you go to practice for a college event. When did you go down to Florida?
We went down on like January the 3rd because they had a Major League Fishing tournament on the 7th.
Okay.
And we went and fished it, and we looked at some numbers and stuff, and it was going to be cheaper for us, really, if we just stayed in Florida the whole time instead of driving down there and fishing the MLF and then driving all the way home and then turning around and going straight back. So we just stayed down the whole time.
So what was kind of, and I don't want you to give me your you know, secrets that you got to hold some of that stuff back. But, you know, when you went out and practiced, you know, what was kind of your practice strategy? If you're telling somebody that had never done what you guys do, you know, did you go look at a whole bunch of spots? Did you try, what was your strategy in practice?
Well, the first thing that we always like to do is just go catch one. I mean, right off the bat, just don't even really look at much. Just go try to catch one so you can quit thinking about it. And then from there, I mean, you can start piecing stuff together. And this particular event, we started shallow because that's what we like to do. And it was so crowded and people was everywhere. And it was hard for us to find an area that wasn't getting a lot of pressure from whether it be locals or other college anglers. And we had a lot of time. So we stayed offshore and just looking. In 18 days, we put over 30 hours on the motor, and it was just a lot of graphing, and we just ran into them.
And so did you make a long run every day? Were you making a close run? You know, what?
Well, in the MLF, we were making a run, and we was going and just straight flipping, just grinding all day, and it ended up, we got over there and everything was getting beat up. So we decided in a tournament we was going, it was probably like a 30-minute run, but it's just because the idle zones and stuff are so long. Like we wasn't going very far at all. and they was just there. That's loaded.
So when you went out in practice, I mean, did you just find this spot in practice and you knew, so you backed off? How did that go?
We were, we like went over and graphed them and stuff, and we left them for a few hours, and we come back to it, and we was fishing around, and he caught a 7, and like 2 casts later, I caught a 5.5.
Wow.
And I threw in there, and I got another bite, and I was like, well, I ain't gonna catch him, and I couldn't shake him off, and I caught him. He was over 4.
Wow.
And the rest of the time, we just kind of babied that spot. We kind of kept an eye on it just because we wanted
Played
to know
some defense, no doubt, right?
Yeah. And then that particular spot on that whole lake, I felt like that little corner that we were in was really the only place that a large number of bass would go, like if they're trying to spawn, just because they had so many options.
I got you.
So we literally graphed, just back and forth that whole side of that lake until we found another school, and
It was awesome.
they would have them too.
So you go out morning one, you know you're on fish, right?
Yeah.
How do you keep yourself together? You know, it's easy to get caught up in the moment. We got a chance. And I'm gonna ask you that question, and I got a follow-up question. But how'd you keep yourself together?
Well, it was we had a cold front like 2 days before the tournament, and we watched our school leave, and then so they were gone, and we started scrambling, trying to scrap something up like the last day, whatever. And then we've been talking about it all day. We decided to go back over and graph them again, see if they come back. And like an hour before we had to be off the water for official practice, go to our meetings and everything, we graphed them and they were back. We just stood up, got one bite off both schools, and we left. And so we didn't really know how much potential they had going into tournament day, because we didn't know it could have been different schools of fish.
I got you.
We didn't think nothing about them. It was just, we didn't really know.
So you weren't going out that morning like we're on the winning bag. It's about
No, we were going out like didn't know how it was really going to go.
We were, before day one, we were tore to pieces, really, just because we knew what could happen. Like we had seen the potential, but we wasn't sure about it. And lucky for us, they was there.
Because listen, guys, we did the college podcast. You guys said you saw a couple weeks back, and I talked to some of those guys this week, and they said it was tough. A lot of people see these Florida pictures, especially your all's day 2 bag, and they're like, "Oh, I'll go down there and do that." Florida's tough for a lot of people.
It is. It ain't easy. It took us a long time down there. It was a real learning experience. Be down there.
No doubt. So, day one, midday? When did you have your 5 fish?
Well, we had both of them schools, and one of them was a lot better than the other one. But we knew that in the one that wasn't as good, that we could still catch a good bag out of them. So we pulled up as soon as the tournament started, whatever day one, run over and we spot locked on first school, and we caught we got 6 bites off of them. We called out one that was like 4-3, and we had 25 pounds. It was 9:30 in the morning.
Wow.
So we didn't want to fish no more because we didn't want to beat our schools up, and we didn't know what weight was going to be like, but we figured 25 would still have us having a chance to win it. And so we quit. We didn't make no more casts the rest of the day. We saved a good school and everything, and we just went back, idled around looking for more. Just pretty much went pre-fishing the rest of the day. And then, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And then day 2, we had a lot of fish, didn't have to save any, could just come back to an untouched school and crack them.
Y'all sound like veterans, and I'm just amazed, the growth that happens. College fishing now is where tomorrow's Elite Series guys will come from, no doubt, I feel like. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, sir.
And you guys sound like veterans speaking about, the experience this week. And I'm just so impressed with your knowledge. You've obviously put your heart and soul into this, and that's inspiring to me. So I think that's awesome. So day one, we go in, we drop 25 on the scales, right?
Yeah.
Now, morning 2, the nerves had to hit. There had to be a little bit of, we got a chance.
It was kind of weird because before day one, the nerves were all because we didn't know. And then on day two, we wasn't near as bad a shape just because like we knew what was about to happen.
We knew we'd get
That's awesome. That's so awesome.
I mean, we would have never dreamed 36, but we knew
it was going to be
something big.
So let me get this straight then. Y'all just go out and lay on that school.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't.
Did you cull a whole bunch? I mean,
no, we pulled up and the first 4 times I set the hooks that morning, 3 of them were 8-pounders. So as soon as we had a limit, we already had like 31.5 pounds.
Man.
Yeah,
now the emotions had to set in.
Yeah. Every bite. I mean, I knew what the guys day one had, and I was just, I mean, all day long you're doing the math in your head in these 2-day events, and we catch one. I'm like, all right, if they got 24, we got them beat. And then we catch another one. I was like, well, they got to have 27 or better now. And then when it got up to whenever they needed 31, I was like, all right, we might have a shot.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but the guys that caught him day one, they caught him day two too, right? Didn't they have 31 pounds?
They had 31 even on day one and then come back in day two with 29.11.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not like they stumbled, you know.
Yeah, we broke the 2-day record by 6 pounds and only won by 1 pound.
Yeah, almost gonna be.
Wow.
It was a white test.
Wow. I mean, I'm blown away. You know, the whole experience, you know, I feel like you guys have put yourself in a pretty opportune position, you know, I mean, as young bass anglers, and you put your name out there for sure. I saw your stuff everywhere on social media the last 24 hours. So that's awesome. So let's talk about, you know, you jump in the car last night, right? You drive home
Yeah.
You didn't need any caffeine for that drive, right? So does Dad travel with you, or who travels with you?
It's just with the team. I mean, we've got
Gotcha.
got a lot of boys on the team, and
so you guys just split up the driving then? I mean,
me and him will split it.
Yeah, we just both got it.
Gotcha. So rolled in late last night. Did you get any sleep is the question?
Well, wherever we was in the truck, I was feeling real tired, and then I got in here and kind of settled in, and I couldn't go to sleep forever.
That's awesome. Well, I'll tell you this from being an old guy and looking back on any cool moments in my life, enjoy it. You know, sometimes we have a tendency to not be where our feet are and looking ahead to the next moment. So definitely, you know, take some time this week to enjoy what you guys have done. But so just in you know, going forward, what's next for you guys? What's your next event? What do you have going on coming up?
There's a few like college tournaments that we're thinking about going to, but the next for sure tournament that we're going to fish is going to be on Lake Norman at the end of March.
Gotcha. So is that a college tournament, or go ahead? I'm sorry.
The college bass series, just the same thing.
Gotcha. Awesome.
It's going to be a big change for us. I don't know how you go from Florida to a spotted bass thing.
And you guys know probably way better than me. One thing about bass fishing, it's the most humbling experience of your life. You know, you see the guy that goes out and wins the next event, you know, I'm just saying it's a humbling experience. So
Everybody has the next one.
Yeah, no doubt the next one's going to be your hardest one. I'm just saying. So, but going from there, how many events do you guys have on the college series this year?
Well, in the Bassmaster, they have 4 events a year and then national championship. And then they have like 3 different trails, and they have a lot of tournaments, but we don't fish all of them.
I got you. So looking ahead, you know, you said you guys doing anything else besides college fishing out on, you know, doing BFLs, or you said maybe East Kentucky Tournament Trail, right?
Yeah, we're going to fish the East Kentucky, and we've been throwing the BFL stuff around, but we just, every time we do, we argue about who's going to be the boater, so we ain't really getting nowhere.
No doubt. So you led me to my next question. Who runs the boat on tournament day? Or do we alternate?
Whoever jumps back.
I got you. Yeah, so me and my partner, we're kind of that way, you know, trolling motor wise. It depends on what we're throwing, who's up front, you know. So I'm sure you guys are a little bit the similar what. So looking ahead, and I'm gonna put you on the spot here, guys. Goals for this thing going forward. You know, I like to hear somebody put it to it. where are we going with this fishing thing? Is this just a college thing? And, you know, maybe it wraps up. We're going to try to go, you know, I don't know that anybody from Eastern Kentucky ever fished on the Elite Series? Not that I know of. I'm just saying.
Nah.
So where are we headed with this thing? What's the goals?
Let's go. We're going to go as far as it'll take us.
I think that's so awesome. You know, I'm going to be your biggest fan. I promise you. You know, you guys seem like you got it together. You got your head screwed on straight. You know, somebody's done a great job in terms of putting you guys on bass fishing experiences in your life, no doubt. So, you know, Dad or whoever that is, I just think that's so awesome. But guys, you know, I just want to give you a huge thank you for hopping on with us a few minutes tonight. You know, I know like I said, there's a ton of people that were curious about your story, you know, how you got from here to there. But real quick, before we hop off, how can somebody find you on social media? They want to follow your journey. How can they find you?
Instagram's Matt Messer Fishing, and then Facebook's just Matt Messer.
Okay.
My Instagram is Lafe Messer, no spaces, and just Lafe Messer on Facebook.
Awesome. So going forward, guys, you know, I know from everybody in the East Kentucky Tournament Trail, we'd like to wish you the best of luck. We'll be following this season. You know, every event, I can promise you those guys are going to hop on there and see how you guys ended up. So, you know, we'd like to wish you nothing but the best of luck. Keep your heads down, keep doing what you're doing, because you guys obviously had, you know, a bright future ahead of you in bass fishing.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, I appreciate you guys' time. Have a great evening, guys. Guys, so if you want to, real quick, just a couple reminders. Casting for Kids, another great local event run by Chris Ferguson. Got an event on Douglas, got an event on Paintsville and Yatesville they do every year. It's a great deal. It supports a great cause, helping kids get, you know, to and from Shriners Hospital. So be sure to go check out casting4kids.net. Check that website out. You can register, pay, do all that online. And also, like me and the Messers were talking about, the East Kentucky Tournament Trail. Go check that out. Facebook page. Brian Allen runs it. It's a great trail. We'd love to have you out fishing with us this year. Guys, have a great evening. I really appreciate you spending some time with us. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.